Hello, George. It's early today. Right, so I'm going to get started because... Good morning. I'm going to get started because we have some errands to run today, and actually, this stitch is really easy peasy. So you're going to take all 6 strands, put this little guy, just put a little tail on there, and we're going to use a lot of thread. So choose a color that has quite a bit of thread on there. Let me just turn the music down a little bit. Alternatively, I think I always mix those up. You could choose lots of different colors for this, and you'll kind of see what I mean in just a moment. So the first thing we're going to do is we need to, I think I did it on the pattern already for you, but I'm just going to explain. We're going to make a circle, and then the inside, if you want some things on the inside, like French knots like this or whatever, then you need to make a circle on the inside as well to leave some space for those. So in the example, I made them black with little black French knots. Can you see? Barely. But some people don't like them at all, don't like to put anything on the inside in the middle at all, and that's totally fine. So what you need to do is make an odd number of spokes. So this is the woven wagon wheel stitch or the woven rose stitch. And it only works with odd numbers. So if you have a really small one, like if you had one that was this big, you could do 3. If you have one a little bit bigger, maybe like the size of these petals, or kind of maybe the outside of this one, you could do 5. This one's a bit bigger, so we're doing 7. You can make an even bigger one and do 9. It's all up to you, how you feel like it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do all the spokes. So this one, you don't want it to be too tight, but then you don't want it to be too loose either, or kind of when you go around and around and around, they won't be, what's the word I'm looking for? They'll look a bit more slappy. They won't look very like organized and tight on your, it's better to just show, I think. So you're gonna go down like this, and I go down and up all the way around because you're gonna end up going down here, and that way you can just go straight into doing your weaving. So actually these little spokes here are the only times that we're going to go down into the fabric and up again. So for the rest of it, it's all a woven stitch, meaning you're not going to pierce the fabric like normal. You're just gonna weave in and out of these spokes that we're making right now. Over, under, over, under, over, under. You want the spokes to all be the same length. So this one's a little bit longer than that one. It's okay, but try to make them all the same. So we're just going to keep going round and round. Like I always say, you don't want to pull too tight or you're going to pull the fabric together. But you don't want it too loose either, or when you weave, they're going to look really sloppy. The petals, I guess, will look really sloppy. Another tip for this is you want to try to make these spokes to be as evenly spaced out, Jessie here, as you can. You don't want to have kind of 6 over here and then 1 over here. You want to try to have them as even as possible. I was trying to give all my tips and tricks. Okay, so we have all of our spokes. I'll show you what the back looks like. So we've literally gone down over like that. So it kind of looks like a windmill. So I just went down here, down through the fabric, and I'm going to come up right next to it, right in between those two spokes. And this is my absolute least favorite stitch to do on a stand, because it's a circle, so you need to weave under, over each one of these, around and around and around. So it's way easier if you take your hoop off of the stand and kind of hold it, and then you can spin it and turn it as you're going. So this is going to be really slow and painful, and I'm sorry about that. So you're going to weave under the one that we just did, and then over that one. So you're just going to skip it. And then under this one, over, under, over. And because it's an odd number, you'll never go under this one twice in a row. I hope it's making sense. So under, and you want to go under all of the threads. So obviously this is all 6 strands. So you want to make sure that you go under every single one. Some people will take their needle and use the back of it like this to go like this. Ooh, Laura Loves Flora says, just wanted to pop in and say hello. I'm in between flights at Heathrow, so it's my first opportunity to watch live. Hiya, babes. I'm really not too far from you, only like an hour and a half. So we've just gone under this one. So we're going to skip this one over and go under. Like I was going to say, some people will take the back of their needle and go under like this, but I like to put my finger on the eye to kind of push it through, and sometimes when I do it the other way, I will put my finger here to push it through, and that's a little bit painful. So yeah, once you get the hang of it, you can kind of go 2 at a time like I've just done. So just to show, I said that because it's an odd number, you'll never go under twice. So this next one will go over this. And you'll go under that one. So every time that you go around, you're kind of covering up the ones that you went under. Yeah, so you went under here and you can see the spoke, so we'll go over. And if you have a long enough needle, you can do 2 at a time, like I said before. This is definitely one where your threads will get tangled, not tangled, twisted. So in order to fix that, you're just going to let your needle hang like that off your hoop, and it will become untwisted. So yeah, here we go. Like I said, this one is painfully slow because it's easier if I take it out of the hoop. So I actually might not do all of it. Also, I said if you wanted to do 2 colors on this, so I definitely didn't mean 2 colors like the inside color and the outside color. I meant you could do 2 different colors of weaves. So say you wanted to do 10 laps around with a dark red, and then 10 laps around with a kind of light pink or something, and then 10 laps around with a white. You could do that as well. Make it a bunch of different colors. But I'm going to go for easy and just do it all dark red. Some people also like to use a blunt needle, so I actually have one over here. I'm not going to change it because I'm just too lazy, but if you use the blunt needle, then you won't have to be so careful making sure you go under each one because it will be blunt. You won't snag any threads as you're going around. You could definitely use variegated thread if you wanted to. I think I actually gave almost all my variegated thread to my mom. Let me see here. I do have some. Okay, so here's some. So what she means is this one. So this thread actually goes from light pink, and then you can see it's getting darker and darker and darker. So that's, I mean, it makes it kind of look like this when it's all wrapped. Just try. Try it. So yeah, you kind of have the freedom to do what you like with this one. Oh, it's so painful. So hard to do it so slowly, you know, when you're used to stitching really fast. The other thing that you can do is once you get to kind of this far, like almost halfway, you could always double up your thread. So I'll just show you really quickly how to change the colors. So if you want to change the color, wait until you have to go over. So this one we go over. And instead of going under the next one, you're going to put your needle down like that. So it looks like you've gone under, but actually you haven't. You've put your needle through. Flip it over, and you're going to do just a small knot. Do not pull it very hard because, like I said, this is all just on the very top of your fabric. So you're actually not going through the bottom at all. So that's the very first time that we've gone through the bottom the whole time. Yeah? So the other thing you could do is you can change colors if you want to make it lighter or darker. Or once you get to the end, you can double up your fabric. So it makes 12. So I have 12 strands. Actually, I need to get more thread if I'm going to do this because that's too short. I'm never going to finish. Because it's double. You kind of want double the thread. Jessie's laying right on my feet underneath the table. Okay, so I'm gonna put the thread in the middle, or the needle in the middle of the thread. Take the two ends, yeah, the two ends, tie those in a little knot. Make sure that it's not tangled at all. Oh, Jessie. I'm not gonna lie, she keeps farting and it stinks. Whew. And then, there we are. So now I have 12 strands through the whole thing. And we went down here right before, so we're gonna come up right after, right here. And then continue weaving as you did before. Let me just pull this out because there we go. So now we have 12. Yeah, again, you don't have to do this. You can just continue on how you were with just the 6, or you can change colors, or you can make it look a bit more plump. And so for this, we're just going to continue on weaving. So obviously over, this one is under, And because you're using double the thread, one, it'll go quicker, but two, it's going to be a bit more raised off of the top of the fabric. Hello. Yeah. I'm sure people at home are like already finished. Again, it's way better if you take it off of the stand and do it like that. So yeah, this is one of those ones that people actually either really like or they really hate it. I have a friend who absolutely does not like this stitch at all, like at all. The only other thing that I will say is that if you're doing this on like a tea towel or a bag or a shirt or jacket, anything that you're gonna use like a lot, like get a lot of wear and tear out of, I would recommend doing a stem stitch rose, which is just like, it looks like this, except you're going to, every time you go around, you're going to go down into the fabric like a stem stitch around and around. And actually we'll do the stem stitch later. I'm just looking at this flower here, we'll use it for sure. And then this flower here, I think we'll do it as well. But because this is all a top of the fabric stitch, if I snag one of these, are you itchy? Huh? Yeah, because this is just like sits on the top of the fabric, it's not very durable. So you're gonna want to think about that when you're choosing what stitches that you use for things like tea towels or jackets or t-shirts, things like that. I'm almost done. And actually, we might do a little stem stitch on the outside. Hello. Yeah, so mine keeps getting tangled up because I can't turn it. So yours should be fine. Okay, so when you're almost finished, obviously we're not done yet because you can still see some of these spokes. You want to make sure that you see no spokes or as little spokes as you can. So I think I'll do one more time around and then show a little stem stitch just to end it, and then we'll be done. Oh my gosh. It's hard because you really don't want to snag any of the other threads that you've already had going through. So the minute that you snag them, you're not going to have a good time. So at the very end, if you still have some spokes, but you can't necessarily go around anymore, which to be fair, I could still go around a couple more times. You can do a stem stitch around the outside. And that's where you go down. You don't want it to be too close. You kind of want it to be the however wide the spokes were, That's how far apart you want these to be. So you're going to go down like this and leave a loop. And then come up really close. And then pull. And I've got 12, so it's going to be more difficult for me because on the back they're going to want to tangle. Yeah? So now you have something that looks like this, and you're going to do it again. Except this time you're going to come up where you just went down the very first time, right next to there. Bianca says, what is your preferred thread brand? So I don't really have a preference. I do like DMC. I also like Anchor. Anchor is really nice. It just depends on what you have available. I haven't really used many other ones. I've used Trebla, which is what I use for some of my kits. But yeah, I mean, they're all quite nice. And you're just going to continue this all the way around the outside until you get to the beginning again. So it covers up the spokes. If you have any spokes sticking out, it will cover that up. And some people think it's kind of like a nice ending to the woven wagon wheel rose. Some people hate it and they really don't like doing it this way. So if you do not choose to do this, that's fine. You don't have to. I would just say make sure that no spokes are showing. So you really want to go around and around and around until you cannot see them anymore, like at all, even from the edge or anything. So this right here is actually thread from the back that's poking through. So that's what it'll look like on the back. So I've done the stem stitch around, and then the front looks like this. Yeah? Let me just tie a wee knot on the back. And then you can do some French knots in the middle if you have space. Obviously, if you didn't make a circle in the middle, then you will not have any space. That's okay. I'm going to take black thread. I also quite like the look of the black thread in the middle. Just 6 strands, a little knot on the back. So for French knots, I'll go up like this, and I'm gonna do 3 wraps. 1, 2, 3, and then right back down. Yeah, so I use an embroidery stand for the tutorials. Normally when I stitch, I do not use a stand. When I get done with the French knots, I will zoom out and show you. I got mine at a charity shop, so like a Goodwill store type thing, and it was £5, but I know that you can get them from, I think it's called Hawthorne Handmade. That's a place in America. I don't know if they ship worldwide or anything. I just know that some people, or some of my friends from the States, have gotten theirs there. And I know that if you're in England, then you can get some at Hobbycraft. They have a stand there. I know online, if you just search for embroidery stand, you can find one like that. So here we go. You might want to just brace yourself because you might get a little bit, I don't want you to like get dizzy or anything. So this is my stand. It looks like this. Like I've said like many times, I don't use the stand for really anything except doing tutorials. So it just depends if that's what you like or not. This is actually a lap stand. So this right here is meant to go underneath your leg like that or like that. And then it has different parts. So this right here, you can unscrew to make it taller or shorter. Obviously, you can only be as short as where the screw is. Ooh. And then this right here is for like how the angle is up, or if you want the angle to be down, you can push it down. And then this is a little clamp. I know some of them are a little bit different. Like I said, I got mine in a charity shop for £5. I just asked the man, do you have one? And he's like, oh, I've got like 4. So yeah, so this right here is to tighten this so it doesn't move. And then this right here is where you clamp your hoop into. So that's my lap stand. That's why I always say about my canned goods. So I have some old canned goods that I just use for to hold it down when I stitch, and then that, like that. So there you go. That's all from me. I'm going to drink my coffee before it gets cold. And yeah, we've got a lot of Aaron and Strand today. So I've got market next week, the Craft and Flea. It's in Birmingham. Look it up. So if you're local to Birmingham, I hope I see you there. So that's next Saturday. So I have to go get some cardstock, some more fabric, little bits and bobs for that. And then, yeah, lots of stuff. All right, well, that's all I have for you today. Let me know if this is your favorite or least favorite. Goodness gracious, this takes a lot. Favorite or least favorite stitch? What's your favorite stitch we've done so far? Let me know, and I will talk with you tomorrow with leaves. All right, enjoy your Saturday, Carolyn. Bye.